One of the first things that drew me to doll making was ghost dolls. I love how you can blend different textures and materials to create something spooky and ethereal. For this little ghoul, I'm going to be painting on fabric in inks, acrylics and colour pencil, and needle felting with a slightly unusual plant fibre. If you just found me, by the way, welcome. My name's Jo. I'm a full-time artist based on a narrowboat in Wales. I want this one to have a pale, spooky, spectral look, so I'm using white cotton sheeting for the skin fabric, with some pale grey striped quilting cotton for the legs. I stuff the pieces with some polyester staple fibre to create a nice firm base to support the joints. The limbs are all bead jointed. I like to make a decorative feature of the joints, so I've picked out some antique silver effect metal beads. I use Gutterman top stitch thread for most of the hand sewing, as it's a very strong, smooth thread, so I know it's not going to snap. The basic construction is pretty similar for most of my dolls, though I do make little changes here and there between projects. For this one, I changed the shape of the torso a bit, and I also slightly altered the shape of the hands. I keep meaning to make a video about making your own templates, so let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. I'm button jointing the neck so the head will have a bit of a side-to-side tilt. One button goes on the back where it'll be hidden under the clothing, then the thread goes up to a second button on top of the head. That one will be hidden under the hair. I play around with the tension until the head moves freely without feeling loose, then I fasten it off on the back of the body. I'm painting some boots in acrylics. I really liked how the hand-painted detail looked on my last doll, so I want to do something similar on this one. It's still very hot here in the UK, so as well as some fabric medium, I've added a bit of slow dry gel to the acrylic paint to stop it clumping and drying on the brush. I've also added a few drops of flow enhancer to the mixing water this time. I'm not sure how much difference that'll make, but I'm hoping it'll make painting the fine lines a little bit easier. I will put some links to tools and materials in the description. That'll need heat setting with the hairdryer, then I'll give it a coat of satin polyurethane varnish for extra durability. I'm shading the eye area with ChromaFlow pencils. I'm mostly using dark slate grey for this one. I blend between coats with a blending pencil and build up the pigment little by little until I feel like I've got enough depth. The idea is to create a sort of hollow effect around the button eyes that fades out smoothly all the way around. That'll need a coat of fixative spray, so while that dries, I'll attach the legs. The hips are hinge jointed, so they just need a couple of stitches to hold them in place. I don't want to sew them on too tightly, they just need to be held close enough to the body so they're secure, but loose enough to allow them to bend and straighten fully. If you're enjoying this video, by the way, please don't forget to hit the like button and let me know. You can also subscribe if you like so you don't miss the next one. Now the fixative has completely dried, I can sew on the button eyes. I've chosen some pale antique effect metal buttons to create a sort of eerie ghostly look. I'm stitching them right through from the back of the head so they sit tightly to the face. As the head is stiff stuffed, pushing the doll needle right through all the stuffing fibre and getting it in exactly the right place can be a little bit tricky, so I'll often make pilot holes in the front. Then when I push the needle through from the back, it kind of guides it to come out in the right place. I'm adding line detail to the face with fine liner pens. These are Derwent Line Maker, which are waterproof and permanent. And they don't contain any gelatin. I was going to use graphite grey for this, but when I tested it on the fabric, I found the ink was kind of spreading out and bleeding a bit into the weave. I don't know if that's because of the heat or a fault in the nib of that particular pen. I haven't had that issue with the black ink, so I don't know why the grey would be any different. But I've decided to stick with the black for now anyway, as I know that one works okay. The mouth just needs a little bit of shading underneath the line. That'll need spraying with more fixative, then I'll start on the dress. I've made a bodice with some light grey quilting cotton. I'm ladder stitching it up the back to fix it permanently in place, then the arms will be jointed over the top. I want to paint some vines on the front. I'm hoping this grey will be just dark enough for the white paint to show up against it. If not, I might have to add some darker grey. First though, I'm making a tattered lace skirt. This spiderweb lace is perfect for a spooky, raggedy effect. I've cut the lace into strips and I'm just knotting them round a length of ribbon until it's wide enough to go around the hips. That's turned out really well. I'll tie it onto the doll, then stitch it in place so it stays put. Now, before I add any more detail to the dress, I want to attach the arms. I've already sewn beads onto the tops of the arms, so I just need to stitch through the body from shoulder to shoulder and through the beads a couple of times to create shoulder joints with lots of flexibility that look pretty cool too. For the design on the bodice, I'm painting with acrylics again, using the smallest brush I could find. I've mixed some titanium white with fabric medium and slow dry gel, and again I've added a few drops of flow enhancer to the mixing water. The white acrylic on grey is quite subtle, but I think it works well. It kind of looks like an extension of the lace. That'll need a quick blast with a hairdryer to heat set the fabric medium, then I can start on the hair. This is a plant fibre I haven't used in a while. It's called Rami. Rami is a cellulose fibre made from a plant in the nettle family. It's not quite as shiny as rose fibre, it's more of a soft satin texture, and the fibres are thicker and longer, so it can be used for longer, fuller hairstyles. I'm needle felting it in with the Clover pen style tool and 38 gauge needles, starting at the back and felting layer by layer until the head's covered. The last section on top of the head will cover those roots and form a parting. So I'm just laying the strands of Rami fibre across the top of the head. Then I use a felting tool with 2 needles in it to felt a straight line from the hairline at the front to the crown. Where the hair has been felted underneath is quite dense, so there's a bit of resistance, but as long as I take my time and make sure the needles go in straight so they're not bending, I should be able to finish this without snapping any. There, now she just needs a quick trim and maybe a little jewellery. I've named this little one Gracelyn Hollowveil. If you like this doll, there's another video on screen now I think you're going to love. Go watch that one now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.